Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Apex Racing TV for the Club73 Touring Car Championship presented by World League Sim Racing. Andrew Woodhouse here, Silverstone Circuit in the United Kingdom, alongside Adam Bath, Sam Fitzpatrick, Alex Simpson, full crew on hand. And Adam, I'll bring you in first, mate. Silverstone Circuit, saw the MotoGP British Grand Prix earlier on today, which was a very good race indeed, and hopefully we get some more of the same tonight.
Yes, so I hear, on a completely different layout to this, of course, because this is the layout of before the Silverstone wing was built in 2010, but it's still a brilliant layout. I hear it's maybe coming to another popular sim in the future. So yeah, good to be here today. The historic circuit in the Kia has produced a lot of great racing, and with the Mustangs and the Jettas on board tonight, I think we'll be seeing all the way through the field.
Sam, we've got quite a large quantity of the slower classes today, and that's pretty good to see, because drivers obviously picking the cars based on their own preferences and not necessarily on which one's the fastest.
Yeah, definitely, and the Mustangs as well. There's always a bit of a concern when a car is introduced to a series that the interest may not be too high for it, but today there's a healthy amount of Mustangs, and also the Jettas as well. Plenty of Jettas out there, so yeah, looking like a really good grid. 28 drivers out there, so yeah, should be a good one.
Well, the man doing the bringing you the pictures this evening, Alex Simpson, World Championship driver. Alex, welcome, mate, as usual. I believe you got the standings for us there as well.
Yeah, Pete Harrod leading the way. Hello, everybody. Good to be here as always. So in the Kias, yeah, Pete Harrod followed by Baxter in second place. Just a couple of points between those guys at the moment, and Michael Hall just a further few points behind them as well as your top three. Chris Wood is fourth, and Freitas is your fifth place driver. Let's just switch the categories over for a second. And in the Mustangs, Atkinson leads the way. He's had a bit of a sort of up and down season, but he's been here every round. I think that's what's made the difference as well. John Roberts in second place, just 2 points behind. Equal with him is Lewis Bibby. Chris White in fourth, and Bell is in fifth place, quite a way back, but again, he's missed a few weeks, so not surprised to see him down there. In the Jettas, it's Molina who leads the way from Mawson. No Clive Lawrence again today, I believe, so family for him events, I think it was, he was saying. So Hooper is in third. Again, joint second place with Tim, so very, very close. 6 points separate those three drivers. Dawson in fourth, and Hedgehog in fifth. I almost said Hedgehog again.
Just a second week in a row. Just a quick one from yourself before we start. I know you absolutely adore this track. I've driven around here in a Ferrari as well, and you know, this layout is fantastic, even though it's somewhat dated now.
It's dated, but like you say, it is a great circuit. I thoroughly enjoyed my time racing around here in the sim, and you know, when like you say, I had the pleasure of driving a few cars around here for real.
Adam, take us down to the grid, which forming up on Woodcote Corner, just like old times.
Yes, some brilliant starts there, and some pretty big crashes, if my mind serves me correctly. Michael Hall starts on the pole, second Dennis Melcher, third is Miguel Freitas, fourth is Stephen Baxter, fifth Chris Wood, sixth Tristan Bodis, seventh Scott Malcolm, and eighth Sam Reeds. That is your Kia field for this first sprint race. Then it is Bibby, Clinton Bell, Andrew Whitehead, Dale Green, and Stuart Atkinson, John Roberts, Chris Sherburn, Chris White, and Diogo Melro. We've gone from having just 3 Mustangs to having more Mustangs than the Kia. Into the Jettas, we've got Ryan Walker on the pole, Tim Mawson second, third Stephen Dawson, then Stephen Whiteley, Steve Hooper, Adam Hedgecock in sixth, and Robert Lundgren, Dan Gunfield, David Ayres in ninth in the 666 car. And then it's the two Kings watching over the entire field in front of them. So we've got just under half a minute to go before we get the race underway.
Yeah, and Sam, with the 3 classes out there, we did go over this a little bit last week, but what are the drivers going to really have to look out for the most around Silverstone? Because you can see that the Mustang and the Jetta are fairly evenly matched again.
Yeah, they are, and the Jetsons may well be faster through the Maggots and Beckett's section. Very good cornering in those cars, so could be a little bit messy if they catch up through a complex, as I think the green flag now about to come out.
And then here we go then. First time tonight, round 5 of the season. Green light is on. We're away. Great start by Michael Hall. He gets away beautifully. Freitas and Melchert following him. Some of the Mustangs got off the line really, really well, almost ahead of the Kias with the rear wheel drive. And into Copse Corner then for the first time. Back as turn 1. And then into the Maggots and Beckett's complex. Adam, what have we got at the back of the field?
Good start by both the Mustangs and the Jettas. No major mishaps there. The Jettas still sticking around with the rear end of the Mustangs as they go through Maggots and Beckett's. And here come the two Jettas, the two cheese and wine cars, making an assault on the Mustangs.
And this is exactly what Sam was saying. Jetta quicker through the through this section, and actually ahead of His Royal Highness John Roberts.
Or hopefully on the hangar straight he should be able to get back by again, but you can see how feisty the Jettas are looking in the early stages here. John Roberts back past Tim Mawson, who's taken the lead in the Jettas. A fantastic start by the number 46 who was racing around this circuit today. And now on their way to Club, and the flat out Club, and or maybe not flat out in these cars, but the long left-hander of Club and the fast left of Abbey as well.
Yeah, Club Corner, the old style, and Sam, personally, I prefer that Club Corner to the new one, but what it does is it gives the cars a nice slingshot on this historic layout through the old Abbey curve, which is the left-hander, towards the complex which we're in now.
Yeah, certainly. There's kind of just no stopping around this circuit until you get into the final complex of corner. It's just high-speed corner after high-speed corner, so the momentum gets really high there, and quite a lot of slipstream as well. We've got a bit of a battle for third place in the what's that?
It's the Mustang, isn't it? It's the boosted motorsport cars.
Yeah, Andrew Whitehead trying to defend off Stuart Atkinson, coming across the line now to complete that one.
Atkinson had an absolute shocker last week. Adam, looks better for him already.
It seems to be a hogger of the fourth place, but here comes Sherburn. The two of them going wheel to wheel through Copse to the Maggots and Beckett's complex at the start of lap 2, but it looks like it's going to be Andrew Whitehead holding back Atkinson. And this fight over third and fourth. Good start by Atkinson as he set up 2 positions to 4th, and Andrew Whitehead up in third. A little bit wide on the exit though of Beckett's, and through Chapel goes Andrew Whitehead, and this will be the straight line speed advantage for Stuart Atkinson, and the two teammates are going to go toe to toe, wheel to wheel down the hangar straight.
Yeah, teammates of course, but out for themselves in this championship a little bit more, you would think. Stuart Atkinson there taking the advantage over a man who's won a BSRTC race. In Andrew Whitehead competed in hundreds of races in that series. Good start there. Alex, by the cheese and wine cars are at the front.
Yeah, always glad to see that. Dawson getting very, very close though. Maybe having a little look on Walker, but yeah, good to see the guys at the front. And yeah, just noticed our championship leader's not here today as well. So yeah, I would think if Tim has a good meeting, he could find himself on top of the championship. We
often get that in these bank holiday races, don't we? We see a few people missing.
Well, yeah, exactly. A lot going on this weekend, isn't there? So.
Oh, that's it. Oh, dear me. And Adam Hedgecock had a bit of a jab at the back of Stephen Whiteley's car, and another boosted motorsport car. Good to see their representation, Adam, out there, and really putting a few cars into the series and filling the grid up quite nicely for us.
Yeah, they've got representation in pretty much all of the classes, I think, as it gets pretty interesting there going through
that was
final section.
That was Michael Hall going sideways through just the Maggots part of the complex, and almost into a four-wheel drift. Didn't seem to affect him too much, but Sammy does have a compromised exit through Chapel, but I don't think Freitas is close enough to have a move into Stone. Indeed, he doesn't.
No, not quite, but still plenty of time to make the move But yeah, this train of cars, as we've seen quite a lot this season, the draft effect in these Kia is quite substantial. So these guys are going to struggle to pull away, but Michael just about hanging on to it at the moment. Whether Great Test will try to pull the trigger right now, or whether he'll just wait till later on in the race, or have to wait and see.
Of course, Adam, 25 years since the first victory for Michael Schumacher in Formula 1, and Michael Hall is hoping to master Silverstone just as Schumacher has done in the past himself.
Yeah, victories for Schumacher in 1998, that famous or infamous race where he crossed the line in the pit lane while serving and went on to win in the likes of 2000 and 2004. So yeah, Schumacher got a good history with this circuit. Going through the final corner, ignores a black flag infamously as well in 1994. So
I'm sure he'd been disqualified here at some point. I think he got disqualified a couple of times in 1994. That's one of them, but yeah, this
crashed
layout.
into Hill, I think, as well in 95. Oh, Hill crashed into him, I should say.
Hill did crash into him. They crashed at Monza as well, if I remember rightly. But you know, we always keep Michael Schumacher in our thoughts here at Apex Racing TV, especially this weekend with all the presentation and things that we saw after qualifying. And yeah, we'll keep fighting, Michael. That's all we got to say on that one. But speaking of keep fighting, the Boosted Motorsport cars, Sam, they are not letting up. And look at Atkinson. He gets a nice cut back through Copse, and he's going to go through on his team principal.
Yeah, well, they need to be careful here. He's going to try to go around the outside of the first part here, but no, he just slots back into position. Yeah, wise thing to do there. But Atkinson was all over the back of him going through the final few corners of the circuit on that last laps, side by side, going down the pit straight. Couldn't quite make it stick, but yeah, very close between those two guys as they come down the home straight.
It's always difficult going wheel to wheel with a team principal, isn't it, Alex?
Oh, well, no, not at all.
It hasn't ended well for two of us in the commentary
we're all fair game. I do remember this very track, actually, the last race I did, which I think was the Renault previous to the World Championship race. I was having a bit of fun out there, and yeah, Scott hit me into Stowe.
Oh, what? Atkinson's lost it, and he went into Clinton, not Clinton Belt, Sherburn, sorry, Chris Sherburn. And he's got some severe damage now on the. That's damage to the left front. And yeah, that was just a case of losing it, which you can do in the Mustang. It's not a very high-powered car, Adam, but it does have some torque out of the corners, and that's what you've got to watch for.
Looks a bit of an odd collision, odd incident that, because it looks like there's a crown in the road, possibly going through the exit of Club, and yeah, the Mustang being very easy to lose might have just been a victim of that, and it sends him into the Mustang and then flying off into the tyre barrier. So for Atkinson, from going from a battle between himself and Whitehead, it looks like he's now going to have to go back to the pits where he will get a fast repair.
It was all going fairly well, wasn't it? And for a second, and ended up losing the rear. And like I say, Silverstone, it's a tough track on tyres, and maybe just overheated the rears, and that's what happens. Andrew Whitehead then it continues in third place. Meanwhile, at the front, it's Lewis Bibby leading the way, and I always make the reference, but Lewis Bibby is always a great driver at coming through the field, and it's nice to see him at the front, starting off at the front, Sam, and really trying to make some headway. And he's making 1 second over Clinton Bell at the moment.
Right, you need to look a little bit further backwards. Sorry to jump in. Mawson, Dawson, and Walker, very, very close together. And now Dawson just got himself past Ryan as well.
Well, the Jetters, yet again, providing most of the entertainment out here. And here comes Ryan Walker, Scottish driver. He's trying to get past Dawson, and not a lot of room there. Almost forced onto the grass, but trying to duck back into the slipstream, get a bit extra in the Jetta.
This looks like a good battle, son. As they go into Stowe. Round the outside goes the Jetta. Fantastic move by Ryan Walker if he can get it done.
That's going to be fantastic. He's going to have the inside for Vale. Oh, he slides the car. He washes out a bit. And number 99. That's Stephen Dawson. And off goes
Hedgecock.
Adam Hedgecock
into the hedge.
That's two boosted cars in the wall in pretty much the same part of the circuit in the space of 2 laps. The cavalry starting to fall here.
Yeah, and a bit unfortunate for Hedgecock, but I don't know if he just got caught out by what was going on in front of him, but to the wall he speared and out of the race. Look at how close it is with the Kias now as well. Michael Hall has a 1 second lead, but behind them Freitas, Baxter, Melcher, Chris Wood, and then Tristan Bodies. And going wide is Miguel Freitas in car 21.
Ooh.
Stephen Baxter trying to have a look, but it's very difficult on Silverstone Historic to do anything in Vale and Club.
Especially for this part of the circuit. Even Bridge is hard because it's so quick, but you can see Melcher running out onto the runoff area on the exit of Club and Vale, now through the flat-out Abbey left-hander, and you can see how much Michael Hall's pulled away just in the space of the last few laps. Now into Bridge. Oh, Bodice nearly running into the back of... Baxter nearly running into the back of...
yeah, Baxter hits Freitas twice.
Oh, and here comes Melcher.
Dennis.
3 wide. Through.
Oh, that's optimistic by Freitas. Can he stay on the inside of Baxter? He can get through on Baxter. Around the outside then goes Chris Wood, looking to get a nice exit. As the other Chris Wood got his exit from Leeds United, but we're not going to talk about that. And through Woodcote Corner they go. The amazing thing is, Stan, we used to talk about the old Silverstone layout. We'd say this Abbey corner, the left-hander, but never used to be the complex there. It used to lead straight into Woodcote. It was a very fast corner.
Yeah, it used to be, in the past. But these guys, ever so close. It was, really close between the three of them going through the penultimate corner. But right now Michael's just, in fact the lead has really extended up to 2.2 seconds now, so all the way by over a second on that last lap as Baxter still trying to defend here. Can he hold the inside line going into Stowe? I think he maybe got here by Chris Wood because he's going to have the inside for the next corner, but it's still possible for Baxter to defend around the outside. Yes, he does a great job there defending. He's going to have the inside for the second part of Club, and he can hold on to that one for at least one more corner. But yes, difficult times right now for Stephen Baxter.
Wood's getting a good run out of Club as well through Abbey Corner. Baxter trying to cover. Going to have to defend the inside into Bridge. Maybe you don't want to defend the inside actually because you have to turn left at Priory. And at the beginning, Michael Hall is going to catch some lap traffic very, very soon indeed. Eddie King saw him going off at Stowe on this lap.
Chris Wood still slugging it out with Stephen Baxter going around the outside. Chris Wood's tried it in the past. He might just be able to stay alongside because Baxter does give him the room, car 888. And Wood, tell you what, might just be able to get the job done before you even get to Cops.
Tristan Bodice is going to try and get involved as well any moment now. Hello. Wood, sure, yeah, completely clear, look. So throws it into Cops. Baxter a little bit sideways. Not a lot of grip out there, but gets it done nicely. Excellent work by Chris Wood.
Well, Stephen Baxter 2 points behind Pete Harrod going into this one. And with Harrod not here, he wants to get as many points as he can so he can get ahead as Wood nearly goes into the back of one of the Jetters.
Getting very close at the front of the Mustang battle as well, Alex. You've got Lewis Bibby, Clinton Bell, less than a second apart. And that has closed in. Bell's eaten into the advantage.
Yeah, slowly ticking down. That last lap was another couple of tenths of a second quicker as well. We know you don't get an awful lot of slipstream, so it's all going to be done on raw pace. So Clinton's going to need to, we're running out of time, so this lap maybe one more. He's got opportunity to do it, but yeah, he's going to need to nail coming out of Chapel, I think. Oh, what's happened to Bibby?
Oh, he's back.
Oh,
Thought he was disqualified.
Oh, he's back again.
Where have we seen that before? And look at the Jetta battle as well as we look into what is probably going to be the final lap. Tim Mawson, 6/10 ahead of Ryan Walker, and then Stephen Dawson very, very close. Then you've got Whiteley and Hooper. You've got Stephen with a PH, you've got Stephen with a V, you've got Steve, and then you've got Mawson and Dawson. All sorts of stuff going on in the Jetta category today.
Jester's just starting their lap now. It'll be interesting to see if Michael Hall can get to them.
Oh, side by side, Hooper and Whiteley. Brilliant battle there, and it's Hooper that stays. It's Whiteley that stays in front. Sorry, in car 10 for now at least.
Yeah, I was just going to say that if the Kias get to them, this will be the Jetta's final lap. But if Michael Hall doesn't get to this lead group by the time we get to the end of this lap, then the Jettas will get one more in after this.
Don't think he will. He's still in the S's. So yeah, I mean Michael Hall. It looks like Dennis Melcher, Sam, is a tiny bit quicker than Hall at the moment, but again, Hall's just a master at nailing these starts and picking up the wins.
Yeah, I'm sure Hall is just cruising around now. Doesn't need to push too hard to seal the win. Justin Bodice still right on the tail of Stephen Baxter. He hasn't quite been able to make the move in the past couple of laps, but yeah, still got a chance on this very last lap to make the move. And actually, Chris Wood isn't too far ahead either. So Bodice, can he perhaps try to claim that 5th position?
And Bibby still ahead of Clinton Bell. Going to be very close indeed too. Michael Hall coming into the complex for the final time, and yeah, Adam, as Sam said, I think he's done enough now.
Yeah, Michael Hall, brilliant job. He might not have got the fastest lap of the race. That honour has gone to Dennis Melcher quite comfortably, in fact. Michael Hall's personal best in the race, 48.8 compared to Melcher's 48.0. But he won't care. Michael Hall coming through Luffield to take the win.
Yeah, he's done that cleanly. He's passed the traffic, exits Luffield, and through Woodcote Corner for the final time. Michael Hall, reigning champion of the series, takes the win here, and in fine style ahead of Dennis Melcher. Then Lewis Bibby. Let's see this battle then. Bibby and Bell. Bell getting close, but Alex is not helped by that famous lack of slipstream from this Ford Mustang.
No, that's it really. Very difficult. I say you have to just be genuinely quicker. The slipstream that you get, negligible. It's actually short straights really at Silverstone, although it's such high-speed circuit.
Oh,
That's
again,
good.
Blinking out, making it interesting.
As good as the battle is in the Mustangs, the Jettas is still heating up as well. Really close there.
I heard that there was a car in the VLN race earlier on that was disconnected with 4 corners to go while leading the race. Well, thought the same might have happened to Lewis Bibby there, but thankfully not. He looks like he's on his way then to taking the class win here at Silverstone. Round the final corner he comes, flat out push to the line for Lewis Bibby. He started on pole and he takes the win. Good job. And we're going to see the Jettas coming through. It's very, very close indeed. 3 drivers, Adam, that can still win this race.
We go into bridge then. Here comes number 99 Stephen Dawson up the inside of Ryan Walker. No way through there surely, because bridge is so quick, but now it's the final few corners where you can really move up the inside, especially going into Brooklands, which we're doing so now, but Ryan Walker covering that inside line well, and he should be able to hold back Stephen Dawson and stop him from getting to him or his teammate Tim Mawson, who's coming through the final corner now to take the Jetta win.
Yeah, great drive by Mawson. He's really asserting himself now in this championship, and Tim Mawson comes through and takes the win in the Jetta. That is a fine victory for Cheese and Wine. I'm sure we'll celebrate with some later on, but Ryan Walker, Stephen Dawson, Stephen Whiteley and Stephen Hooper make up the top 5. And Sam, yet again, the Jetta, very, very close battle.
Yeah, it's such a competitive class with the drivers that we've got here. Even without the Alexis Molina, the championship leader, we still had a fantastic race in that one. Really nothing between these guys, and the draft is such an advantage around this circuit in these cars, so really good tight battling.
Yeah, and I think, Adam, that Molina, even when he comes back, he's going to have a handful, because these guys look like they're on top form behind him.
Yeah, definitely great job by all of those guys in that class today, especially with the amount of cars that were in it. We had more cars in that class than the Kia today, so yeah, next race 2, 30 minutes, and the mandatory pit stop as well. That always proves to be a difficult task for all of the drivers in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. We'll see who comes out on top.
We will indeed. So, well, thank you for joining us for race 1, but race 2 will be coming up in just a few minutes' time here on Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live. We've got a 30-minute race as the Club 73 Touring Car Championship continues.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Nick Candy, what a move. Truex on the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be into stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Welcome back to the Club 73 Touring Car Championship, presented by World League Sim Racing here on Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live. Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath, Alex Simpson and Sam Fitzpatrick joining you here. Full broadcast booth, Sam. Pretty full grid out there on the track as well. And the first race was really, really good. Second race is the feature race. It's a longer race, pit stops involved. What do you expect from this one?
Yeah, should be another really good race. Lots of competitive guys out there, and big grids for every class and competitive drivers in every class. So I think the fact that the grids, of course, will be swapped around, put in reverse order from the finishing positions from the opening race. I think it should be really good because it's not going to be easy for the race winners in race 1 to make their way up to the field.
Adam, what's your thoughts on this one? We saw some close battling through all the classes, and usually we get all the different classes converging on each other at certain points through the races. Maybe all the leaders are together, things like that. And how they deal with traffic is going to be key here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it also doesn't help that drivers in different classes all decide to pit at different times for their various pit stops. It isn't like, for example, the Ritmatech Sports Car Series where the fuel is limited. It's just a mandatory pit stop where you've got to go in and get as little fuel as possible and get those 4 tyres changed and be on your way. So that is why we have such a broad window in terms of strategy, like we've seen the cheese and wine drivers, for example, the last few weeks pitting pretty much at the end of lap 1 to get that pit stop out the way, and then they can sieve their way through the field without getting stuck in the traffic. So the traffic and the strategies are the 2 key main things that we'll be watching out for in this second feature race.
And Alex, the sun's out, much hotter track temperature this time. Obviously the tyres are going to be worked just that little bit harder. What can the drivers do to try and limit that tyre wear in these, especially in the front wheel drive cars?
Yeah, well, of course, everything goes through those front 2 tyres. So, just braking perhaps a tiny little bit earlier, but softer. Making sure you absolutely avoid all lockup as possible. Try not to put too much steering lock into the car as well. That will have a tendency just to, cause the tyre to scrub and again heat up, and you'll just gradually lose lap time over the run. And as you're coming off the corner, just be a little bit more gentle on the gas, that the car doesn't actually start to understeer with the power, but it rotates off the corner quite nicely. So there's a few things the drivers can do to minimize heat and maintain lap time, but it's not easy when you've got a bunch of cars hounding you.
Adam, a familiar Scotsman on pole position.
Yeah, he is. Here come the lights. Yeah.
About ready for the lights. A bit early.
Green, green, green.
Green flag flies. Hope nobody got caught out by that. The start was very early. Scott Malcolm did get a reasonable start, but it was a very good one by Sam Reed. This time he's around the outside of Copse. Malcolm has the inside line, and Reed trying to use that momentum on the outside. Looks like he's got that one sorted. He has into Maggots and Beckett's. Gets across in front of Malcolm. Let's have a look at the Mustangs. Sam, it looks like everybody's got through there okay to begin with.
Yeah, Clinton Bell leading at the moment, followed by Chris Sherburn just behind him. I think Sherburn actually started from pole.
Atkinson hard into the wall. What happened there?
Now that second big hit for him today. Let's have a look. He went out wide through Chapel and he touched the grass by the tiniest margin, and that was enough to send him for a big ride into that wall.
I think that was Lewis Bibby, wasn't it? It was very fortunate to not get absolutely taken out. And again, it just shows rear-wheel drive car, Alex, just touching the grass. Very little grip there, and that's what can happen.
Yep, that's it. Obviously, Atkins runs the Kia quite a lot as well, so very much used to the front wheel drive where that had just pushed on, but yeah, the rear wheel drive just spins it up and around she goes.
Look at this Jetta battle. I've just seen it. Go on, take us through it, Adam.
Going through the Abbey left-hander, we've got the likes of Dawson, Lundgren, we've got Tim Mawson, we've got Steve Hooper, and we've got Adam Hedgecock as well, all fighting for positions, all fighting for space.
King's in there as well, and David Ayres at the very back of it.
Oh, look at the lines they're all taking. Someone's in the
Off
gravel.
goes Dawson, I think. And he's been passed by Mawson. And King goes wide. He's trying to maintain the position. I believe he's third at the minute. Oh, King really washing out through Luffield. Might lose a place here to Tim Mawson. Mawson in the pits straight away.
There you go.
And we've seen that early stop work occasionally. But what this does do, Sam, what we've seen is... oh, go on. What's that?
Sorry, Dawson and King were coming together down the front straight.
Me running into each other there. There's sometimes a bit of a risk with this early stop, but what it can do, Sam, is it can get you into some clear track and let you do some laps. Put the fast laps in while everybody else is squabbling, but it does get you out of the draft, I suppose. So it's
we got
kind of,
sorry,
6-1 after
King's
the other
off.
AD King round.
You'll be able to get back going relatively quickly, but yeah, that one, well, it was coming because I think he made quite a bit of contact down the pit straight, but trying to go too wide, going through maggots and back hits, it's always going to be a risk, and didn't work out for him that time.
Alex, do you have any pit stop times down there for Mawson and Walker, the two cheese and wine cars coming in together?
Yeah, I do. So Ryan out ahead, 23.5 seconds. I think Tim might have missed his box going in as well because
yeah, he's quite a way behind now.
It's showing a couple of stops for him, so I think he's backed up. But worth pointing out, I did just look to see where the Kias were as well. They're about half a lap behind, and we picked up on this point last week that tracks where you're almost guaranteed to get caught back up before the Kias have their pit stop. It's not worth pitting early, but this track's quite long and
quite wide.
Yeah, exactly. They've got half of that to play with, so it makes some sense to get in now and get out of that pack and try and break away. So,
but if this was somewhere like Summit Point or maybe even somewhere like Laguna Seca, they might have a real issue with that. But yeah, you're right. The Silverstone circuit does provide some quite ample territory, shall we say, to get the overtaking done.
Everyone going mental in the Jetters still. Stephen Whiteley now leads, Dan Gunfield second, and then Dawson in third.
And then it's Hooper and Adam Hedgecock at the back of the group. So it did spread out a little bit, didn't it? But the front five within 1.2 seconds, and off goes Whiteley. No harm done there at the exit of Copse Corner.
Oh, sorry guys, I need to interrupt you. Hall and Malcolm were getting into each other at Stowe Corner.
And Malcolm's gone while he's off the track. Be careful rejoining Scott. Oh, look at that.
Oh, God.
That's the Petrov line as he goes through club, and that's damaged the front of the car.
Was that Petrov who did that?
Malaysia, yeah.
Malaysia, yeah.
Where he bounced off the service road or whatever.
And the steering column just went dong.
Oh, because I remember he had the wheel. There was one as well where was that the one where he had the wheel in his hands and it wasn't connected to anything?
Yeah.
Or was it?
Oh, Jetters, and it's all happened here. Gunfield sideways and Dawson also in the mix. And who's that coming through? That's
Hedgecock. Still
Hedgecock.
hitting each other. Hooper and Gunfield were still hitting each other nearly at the exit of.
He's round. Both two of them. Also, I'm watching replay. I'm way behind you guys.
Been there.
Yeah, I was watching back.
Well, that's your first one, then. It was bound to happen at some point. So you've done well. Done well up to this point.
Whitehead versus Bell going into Brooklands. Contact between the two, and that's Whitehead forced wide.
Yes, Sam, that does end up happening to us. If we do a night of touring cars, that pretty much happens to at least one of us at one point. So,
just look at the Mustangs right now. That is ridiculous.
5 of them in a line, and that's without any discernible slipstream as well. So the racing is just that close in the category at the minute, and it's Andrew Whitehead leading the way, which he'll be very, very happy about indeed, I'm sure. And then it's Clinton Bell.
Baby's off.
Off goes Bibby. And Roberts just hits Sherbert.
And he's been royally sectioned there.
I think that was a... I think...
Big damage as well.
Maybe forced to abdicate after that one. That was not the best from the king of the ring.
To the Kias, guys. Look at this at the front. Oh, they're getting so close.
Every time we switch category, something else happens. And I tell you what, Alex, Freitas, Melcher, they've got experience in the BSRTC now as well, which is no doubt helping them. And yeah, they're looking feisty out there in this one.
Yeah, very much so. Reed's got his hands full in this one, so see how this pans out. A little bit of separation from those guys, though. That was with obviously Hall getting into Malcolm, wasn't it, earlier on? So 1.6 second gap to the front three. So opportunity for those guys to work together and maybe try and break away before the pit stops.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this, Sam, earlier on. Actually, that what's the best strategy for the Kias in terms of the pits? Because got to think that the slip. If you're Freitas and Melcher, then you have the advantage of the slipstream, but you may want to get out of the traffic. But there's no guarantee if you pit early, like Alex said earlier on, of getting out of the traffic.
Yeah, you got to judge it whether the guys around you are working with you or working against you. If they're giving you a tow, then you may as well stay out and use that to your advantage. But if they're fighting with you, it's worth pitting a bit earlier and getting out of that fighting. So yeah, you just got to judge it as a driver. I think at the moment this front three kind of helping each other along. I think Dennis Melcher is actually the fastest guy out of these three. But these guys aren't hurting each other too much, but if they start fighting quite a lot, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them pulls into the pits.
Adam, as a driver who's won a Kia Club Series race before and driven in the BSRTC, you know as well as anybody that there's a bit of a fine line as well between getting a helping hand from the slipstream and just plain getting held up. And it looks like Melcher may just be getting a tiny bit held up at the minute.
Well, we saw how quick he was in the opening race. He was about 0.8 of a second quicker than our overall winner, Michael Hall, in the end. So he saw the pace there, and with Sam Reed leading, I'm sure that Melcher will be wanting to get by. Sam Reed wasn't near the front in the opening race, but he seems to be doing an okay job for now. But yeah, Melcher looking quick here. Fastest lap of the race, incidentally, is to the guy that sits in third place, just behind Dennis Melcher, Miguel Freitas, a 1:51.1.
Freitas with that extra slipstream from his regular BSRTC teammate, Dennis Melcher, and there's also a second pack between Hall, Baxter and Wood. So they're having a bit of a ding-dong. Whitehead continues to lead in the Mustang. And then it's role reversal, Adam, this time with Bell ahead of Bibby.
Maybe the winner from race one in the sprint race. You can see that those three have now decided to break away from the rest after that chaos in the first corner at Copse a few laps ago. And yeah, with the insight that we don't have as much slipstream in the Mustangs, these three are pretty much as close as they can get for the time being anyway. That is Whitehead, Bell and Bibby, who are now a few seconds, 5 seconds ahead of Dale Green in that second group.
And what we have got, Sam, as well, is that Adam Hedgecock is right with Stephen Whiteley. He may be making a move here. Oh.
Yeah, he's running his tail. Yeah, still plenty of time to go, so he doesn't want to make too rash a decision, especially considering what we've seen so far in this race in the Mustangs particularly. But he does seem to have the advantage, does Hedgecock. He was 1.3 seconds faster than Stephen Whiteley on that last lap, so clearly he's got a pace advantage. We'll see what the times are this time round, but I think he's going to be a little bit too far behind going into turn one this time.
Two separate races really going on there in the Jettas as well. It's these guys are basically in the overall leading position, but then you've got the real net leaders of the race, which is probably Ryan Walker at this point, who is 25 seconds behind Dawson. Yeah,
Walker, of course, made that pit stop on the first lap, I think, just in front of Tim Mawson. That last lap, Walker was, half a second faster than Stephen Dawson, so that strategy, I think, could well be working, but if those tyres get a bit old at the end of the race, and then you might lose out.
Alex,
blown engine out there somewhere.
Yeah, a lot of smoke. It's Andrew Whitehead, who was he was in about second position in class.
That
what happened there? Oh, he's done what his teammate did at the start of the race, going through the exit of Chapel. Our Mustang leader loses it and then goes into not just the tyre barrier, which Atkinson did. He went into the Armco, which pretty much has made the engine completely wrecked. However, if he does get to the pits, he will get that new Ripper car. Yeah,
I was going to say he's carrying on much to the chagrin of the Jetta drivers, but if he can make it, which if he takes it relatively easy, he's got a chance of making it. Then he will get, like you say, get the repair, but not what Andrew Whitehead needed at all. He's probably lost 10 seconds at least already, and he doesn't want it to go bang either, because if it goes bang properly, then he won't even be able to make it in for his fast repair. Disaster for Whitehead. It's not been going Boosted's way really, Alex, has it? Whitehead blown engine, Atkinson crashed, Roberts crashed into Sherburn.
Yeah, no, not at all. I think the Jetta driver's just grateful that it's not putting down oil on the circuit, because yeah, that might make it quite interesting. But he's in, he'll make it.
Hey, that's something for the future, I reckon.
Yeah, it definitely needs to happen, I think.
As long as it's not an F1 Championship Edition style oil slick, Adam, then it should be fine. Oh, it has gone now.
He should be able to make it into his box, though.
The engine has gone. He's going to freewheel it now into the pit box. Oh, you know what? I don't know. Oh, no, he should do. 25 kilometers an hour. And he's going to get there eventually. Yes, he is. There we go. And magically repaired again. How Fernando Alonso wishes that he could just do that.
Well, actually, I don't think he could care about getting a new engine, to be honest.
Well, no, it's, in fairness, though, he'd need more than one fast repair, potentially, wouldn't he? Oh,
I did love that tweet from Stoffel that said that Stoffel Van Dorn managed to complete 51 overtakes today, or whatever it was.
Like 65 place penalty.
Yeah. Get your pit stops started, by the way, and it's Michael Hall and Miguel Freitas, the top two from race 1, into the pits already, getting their pit stop out of the way just before the halfway mark.
Also, we got Tim Mawson. Oh, and someone's gone into the back of him there.
It's Mawson, and it was Tristan Bodice that ends up hitting him, but I didn't see what happened to Tim Mawson.
Oh, it was Kia traffic that started
it. Stephen Baxter.
So Baxter hits him out at the exit of Chapel, and then he gets going again, and I don't think there was nothing that Bodice could do there, unfortunately.
Oh, Mawson, it was a slightly poor rejoin. But Baxter, Alex, he seemed to just have no regard for the Jetta there.
Yeah, no. I didn't get a very good shot of it, I have to say. We're on board more than anything. Let's just see if we can get another look.
Exactly the Jettas can't just disappear, you know? They've got
no, exactly. He just poked his nose in there. Really didn't have a.
Down to the Kia driver, if anything, to go round the Jettas, mostly. What's the golden rule, Adam, of of a mixed class race? Is that you stay on your line and the faster drivers should find their way around you, not the other way around.
Yeah, I saw that definitely there. Pit stops have got underway in both Mustangs and Jettas. We've got John Roberts has been in, Clinton Bell's been in, Whiteley in, David Ayres in,
Mawson off again.
Oh, Tim Mawson off again.
Got terrible damage. I think it's broken. It might possibly be broken left rear suspension, and yeah, he's just losing the rear every single time he turns into the corner.
You can pit, can't you, and get a fast repair? He pitted on the first lap, so he wouldn't have used that fast repair. So he's still got a new car available to him.
Hopefully, he hasn't.
He can get in, but yeah, it's not going to help his race much, I think.
Well, Stephen Baxter's carried on and has made it to his pit box to do his pit stop. He's currently in 6th place. The third of the Kia Optimas in today.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Sam, earlier on, but a fairly big incident there. But yeah, it's all happening tonight.
Yeah, I wonder. I think Baxter's is he going to be behind Freitas and Hall? Yeah, I think he. Yeah, I think he already did say. Yeah, that wasn't really a question, but
he lost some time with the crash as well, didn't he, Baxter? So
yeah, and Bodice now 12 seconds off the lead, so. He's lost a lot of time as well. I'm surprised they didn't actually pit on that last lap to get that aero damage fixed, but yeah, a long way back for those guys after that little incident.
The funny thing, going back just quickly before anything else major happens, Ah, wait, there's a battle for the lead. Hold that thought. Dennis Melchett round the outside of Sam Reed. Trying to, at least, anyway. Through Brooklands. Got a nice exit. Is Reed going to leave him the space?
I wonder if
Does.
Reed.
He's trying,
Well,
he's trying the wide line round Luffield.
well, one of these guys has surely got to pit soon, and I wonder if Sam Reed is doing so. Maybe that's why he let him by on the exit of Luffield, because he had to get over to the inside to get into the pit lane. But yeah, Sam Reed in.
Yeah, that's why he gave him the space, and sensible driving from Reed, because you have to ensure. How many times have we seen, Alex, in the past of people crashing trying to get into the pit lane when they end up in the wrong place?
Yeah, we've seen it plenty of times. Even in the World Championship, I've seen drivers do it. So, you have to concede
What Reed
at that
did
point.
there is he ensured he had that track position so he could just pull off into the pits without affecting anybody else.
Dawson coming out of the pits in the Jetta as well. I saw a Mustang wide through turn 1. I'm not sure who that was.
Go back and
I think
check
it
that
would
for you.
have been.
All the dust. It was Chris Sherburn.
Yeah. He's under a little bit of pressure from John Roberts, but they've had a collision already today.
Oh, Chris Wood is in to swap his tyres for some new ones.
Great Jetta battle going on out there. Dawson and Hooper and Hedgecock. Just a second or so separates the three of them going down the hanger straight.
This is over 3rd, 4th and 5th in class. At the moment, well, all the Jettas have now completed their pit stop, so the new leader is Ryan Walker, then it's Whiteley in 2nd. Then they've got a Mustang between these two groups. It's Chris White, and then we've got, Dawson, Hooper and Hedgecock all fighting over this final spot on the podium.
Dawson not out.
Bibbian.
He's out of the race, I'm afraid, guys, as well. Worth picking
Who's
up on that. Tim, he couldn't. He must have somehow used his repair on lap 1 because it's not repaired his car, so he's still sat there, I'm afraid.
Right.
You have to remember
Clinton
if
Bell?
you're going to take that, whether to tick the box or not. You know.
That's it, yeah.
Right, Bibby's just completed his pit stop, but whereabouts is Clinton Bell? He's just coming over the timing line now. Bibby hasn't crossed the pit lane line yet, so it's going to be close in terms of the Mustang
super close. Super close. I think Bell's going to get it. The old advert used to say, Belly's going to get you. What's he going to do? Is he going to be able to get Lewis Bibby into the complex? No, he's not. So Bibby maintains the lead. Going to have
Dennis in as
fairly
well.
cold tyres, so we'll see whether he can get out quickly and get into the rhythm.
Dennis Melcher in from the lead. That releases Scott Malcolm and Tristan Boddice, who are yet to make their pit stops with 10 minutes to go. Whereabouts is Michael Hall then? He's just coming along the pit straight, lapping the Jettas. So it's going to be Michael Hall getting the effective race lead.
A lot of traffic for Hall, but doesn't seem to be affecting him. He's on his way to a double victory, and it will be well deserved. Melcher's still in the pits. He's been in there for a while.
Over half a minute.
30 seconds already, so some kind of issue there for Melcher, unless...
Any idea of what that could be, Sam? Maybe putting the full tank of fuel in by mistake or something like that, or?
Yeah, maybe, but you would have thought he'd fixed that by now. He would have just, clicked down the fuel options, but yeah, he's still there, so clearly it's a big issue.
He's not.
I don't know of any glitches or anything on iRacing at the moment with pit stops, so...
it's not unheard of. It's not unheard of, Alex, for someone to not have buttons mapped for things like that, but he wouldn't have been in there for that long. It doesn't take that long to refuel the Kia. I mean, still there. So what is going on there?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Some sort of problems.
We saw he actually drove into the pits and he didn't crash. Although, there we go. He's back out again. So,
1 minute 24 stop.
My goodness. Michael Hall is into Bridge Corner. That's how much time Dennis Melcher's lost.
Worth picking up as well that Hall's pit stop time is about 4 seconds quicker than pretty much the rest of the field. So you have to keep an eye on him.
In case the fuel, I
mean, there was one other in 22s, but still 2 seconds. So, but the people that he was running around. So,
you have to take. Am I right that you have to take 4 tyres?
Yes. Yeah, that is the rules. 4 tyres.
So there's no possibility, that he just took 2 or anything like that. But although in the Kia or the Jetta or the Mustang for that matter, that wouldn't be just 4 seconds. Whiteley versus Dawson. Across the line, that's very close. Not sure who's in
Oh
front
my
there.
word. And there's a Kia in the mix as well. That is Chris Wood.
And then behind them, you've got Steve Hooper and Adam Hedgecock again. So this battle continues to rage. Wood will be hoping he clears this group by the S's. He will.
Oh, Tristan Bottas has taken the lead from Scott Malcolm. I think there might be a reason for that. Oh no, they're going wheel to wheel, that's why. But Malcolm is obviously nursing that damage from his high-flying visit to the grass.
And Bottas is nursing damage from his visit with Tim Mawson earlier.
That's the walking wounded here. But they're fighting for the lead anyway. But of course it won't be the lead once they come in and do their pit stops.
You wouldn't have thought so, at least. And Tristan Bottas into the lead, though. Yeah, not the effective race lead. That will belong to Michael Hall. He's got a 5-second lead over Miguel Freitas. Hall just exiting club corner now. Freitas in the aforementioned corner. Sam Reed just behind them. And I think it's looking, Alex, with about 8 minutes to go, something like that, that Michael Hall's on for a double here.
Yeah, I think so. Pretty comfortably. That pit stop nailed it. He's got himself a nice little gap over Miguel behind. So Reed starting to close back in on Miguel. So they're going to fight, I'm sure. So yeah, looking good for Hall.
Yep.
Has got a little bit of traffic to contend with here. A couple of Mustangs. That is, in fact, actually, he's going to get past both of them quite easily because Sherburne just letting them go. And actually that's John Roberts going for the overtake now on Chris Sherburne, but Sherburne holds on round the outside where he's going to go off the track surely. No,
I don't think he has. I don't think he has held on. He didn't hold on to the black stuff at least anyway, and that means that His Royal Highness John Roberts is through. And yeah, the ring, it's not been a kingly performance, Adam, but when you play the Game of Thrones, you either finish the race or you DNF, and well, one or the other for John Roberts, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he goes for the middle ground at all. For the Jets, are still raging on for the final spot on the podium between, and in fact, it's for the runners-up spot.
Oh,
I should say, as I hear a
limping along. What's that?
I thought I heard loads of tyre skink. I think it's Hedgecock, I think.
From the replay, he's just hit the wall. I'm not sure quite where that was. That was going into
Atkinson.
Brooklyn's? No,
Atkinson was limping along.
That is the wall going into Priory.
Yeah, into Priory, so that was what we could see in the aftermath of.
I haven't seen anyone hit that
left at all.
Since Jarno Trulli did. And this time there will be no fast repair for Stuart Atkinson.
Yeah, the inside wall. Well, the inside wall of bridge. Yeah, the outside on the way into Priory. It's not a great place to crash. Let's be honest. Dawson versus Hooper for second place over on the Jetters. Fairly close, and Whiteley and Hedgecock continuing their battle. That's even closer.
Malcolm just lapping those Jetters there. The speed of the Kia really showing as, Whiteley and Hedgecock go into battle. There's Andrew Whitehead trying to get past them both as he goes up the inside into bridge, and that is an overtake for position. Oh! Whitehead nearly through. Ryan Walker's dropping down the order. What's happened to our leader in class? There he is, he's off!
Oh, he's round. Yeah, so...
Oh, and he's done exactly what Atkinson did. Oh,
absolute disaster for Walker. He got the rear wheels on the grass, and nothing he could do to avoid smashing into the outside wall.
Luckily for him, he didn't hit the brick wall, which is just a bit further. Well, yeah, the concrete wall a bit further along. He hit the tyre barrier, so that might have not given him too much damage, but the car still looks a bit of a mess.
Going to finish the race, Walker, but that's about all you can say for this one, I'm afraid. Being in the lead, and now this battle which we've been covering, this titanic scrap between Dawson, Hooper and Adam Hedgecock, which has spread out a little bit, I must admit. Now for the class win, Alex.
Yeah, and I think Dawson's looking pretty good with nearly just under 4 minutes to go. He started to edge away now. I think he's outside of the draft area, so yeah, just don't make any mistakes, Dawson, and you're good, I think.
That's the second leader today in the three classes that has lost the lead for a crash. Andrew Whitehead happened to him earlier on. And yeah, now it was the turn of Ryan Walker. Michael Holt will be hoping that it isn't third time unlucky for him. With just 3 minutes to go.
Dan Gunfield maybe lining up a move here, going into Stowe, down in 22nd place.
Oh, there's a David Ayres I thought was a shoe-in for the gravel at Stowe there. Oh, he's going to go out wide anyway. This will, could allow Dan Gunfield in a chance. 7th versus 6th here. And it's apt that car 666 is in 6th position in class.
Dave Baker would be proud.
I'm surprised David Baker didn't go for that number himself in the PSRTC.
It's not the best number always, is it, that one? I must admit, but you know, each to their own, I guess. David Ayres now has to keep Dan Gunfield behind him, and that's not going to be too easy. The Club 73 car with Hythe Hill Motorcycles.
Good battle for second place in the Kias as well, between Miguel Freitas and Sam Reed in the closing stages. Reed was quicker than Freitas on the last lap. 52.5 for Freitas, 52.4 for Sam Reed, and it looks like he might be fancying his chances of getting in the runners-up spot in the final 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, I think you're right. Probably going to have a challenge here.
And
not long to go at all.
Sam Reed did have the quicker pit stop as well, 22.7 seconds compared to Freitas with the 24.
Oh, sorry, and Dawson's really under pressure now from Hooper. Hooper was 6 tenths fast on that lap. So out of nowhere, Hooper's suddenly right back on the tail of Stephen Dawson for the win in the VWs.
Here's what I know. Calling Dawson safe, commentator cursed him full on there.
I mean, it's not that unusual, is it? It's Hooper now right on the back of Dawson. Good slipstream. Nearly 200 kilometers an hour in was essentially just a family car, a diesel. Adam, that's pretty much it.
Well, they've taken it and turned it into a racer. Well, they haven't done much, but it's still doing well anyway. The left-hander and the Jetta TDI. Won't get into too much about the emissions, but the power still seems to be there.
Yep. Well, where's the power going to rest in the end? Where's the balance of power going to be? It's going to be with Stephen Dawson. It's going to be with Steve Hooper. They're really the only 2 contenders for this now that Ryan Walker... Oh, Ryan Walker's just crashed.
Again?
I don't know if he's just parked it. I think he's just parked it, Ryan Walker. He's got damage. I think that is just his day done.
Freitas and Reed very close. Reed trying to line up something coming out of Chapel.
Very close now as well. Between those 2. Just doing enough is Miguel Freitas, isn't he? He's getting a good enough exit, Alex, out of Chapel to mean that all Reed can do is really almost get within lunging distance, but Stowe's not really a corner you can have a lunge into.
Nah, pretty short braking zone there, and yeah, you're right, Miguel using every last bit of the circuit coming off of Chapel there, so knew exactly what the car was going to do, picked up the gas just at the right point, so very difficult when somebody's nailing the exit like that to get an overtake. Final lap of the race, white flag is out, and Hall is coming into just gone through bridge.
Yeah, so, I mean, Michael Holt, he's very experienced in the Kia Optima, and he has won a title in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. BSRTC race winner, of course, many times, and through the final corner, then Michael Holt is set for victory here. He's set to do the double at Silverstone. And car number 112 takes the win. And his second one of the evening. Brilliant stuff by Holt. Going to be close between Freitas and Reed, but going to be Miguel Freitas. Great stuff by him. Lewis Bibby winning for Ford Mustang as well. And
who's going to win for Jettas? Here we go. Look how close this is.
Oh, it's Dawson versus Hooper. 2 Steves. And there's a Mustang there as well of Whitehead. This is the last thing the Jettas need, is a car in the mix with them.
Yeah, come on, Andrew, keep out of this battle.
That is 4th position, though, so Whitehead points are at stake for him.
Will it
Throw it up the
matter in the
inside?
class?
it
I would have thought it mattered not on class. So.
We'll throw that one out, then we can edit that out. Dawson versus Hooper. Side by side into the final corner, into left field. Hooper desperately trying to wrestle the lead away from Stephen Dawson. He gets a good exit. Can he can he get the momentum? Oh, not really, because he goes on the gravel. And they're both going to get mugged at the end by the Mustang. Stephen Dawson takes his first win in the championship. And very well deserved indeed.
Ayres versus Gunfield. Don't know where Ayres is going, and it looks like he's going to relinquish the place.
Oh, it's very close.
Got a Winter Series finish on our hands.
That's not the line to use, I don't think, in the final corner, and that proves to be the case. He loses the position, and if he had have taken what you would assume Sam would be the normal line, he would have had a place there.
Yeah, a little bit cautious to not make contact, but yeah, just lost out on the run to the line there, Dan Gunfield. Not quite sure how much the gap was there, but yeah, must have been a couple of hundredths between the two.
All right. Well, very entertaining race again, Adam, and takes to the finishing order then. Michael Hall with the double.
Yeah, the results. Race victory for Michael Hall, second for Miguel Freitas, third for Sam Reed, fourth Chris Wood, his teammate, then Tristan Bodis in fifth, Stephen Baxter sixth, seventh Scott Malcolm, and then Dennis Melcher finishing in eighth after that really long pit stop. Who knows where he could have been contending if that hadn't happened. Then into the Mustangs, race victory for Lewis Bibby, second for Clinton Bell, third the Canadian, it's Dale Green, fourth Chris Sherburn, then fifth John Roberts, sixth Chris White. Then we get into the Jetters, race victory for Stephen Dawson and Andrew Whitehead in that Mustang, splitting him and Steve Hooper, who finished second in the Jetters. Adam Hedgecock in third, fourth Steve Whiteley, fifth for Dan Gunfield, sixth David Ayres, seventh Robert Lundgren, eighth Ian King, ninth Ryan Walker, despite leading the class for the majority of the race. Then Stuart Atkinson, who crashed twice, and then Tim Mawson, who crashed and didn't have that fast repair at the ready, and then AD King was out early on.
All right, thanks very much for that, Adam. And Alex, what are your thoughts on that meeting? And that was a pretty good one.
Good race, enjoyed that. Lots of battles going on everywhere. I mean, fortunately they weren't all at exactly the same time, but they seemed to follow one after the other, so we were able to hop around from each one and cover all the action, which was good tonight. So. I'm sure next week will be just as exciting. It's been a great season so far.
Season's moving along very nicely, and Adam is with another man who season is. Oh, it was going well, at least for most of the meeting, and that was our colleague Ryan Walker.
Oh, Ryan, commiserations. Tell us about that second race where you were leading for the most part.
Yeah, I decided for race one to take my advice from a teammate Clive Lawrence, who sadly couldn't be here tonight due to other commitments. Took his suggestion to pit early, try and jump some people in the pit stops. Luckily it worked and it all was going well. And then I checked my fuel with maybe I think there was maybe 3 minutes remaining, and found that I was maybe 1 or 2 laps short of fuel. So yeah, I was planning to do a splash and dash to get some fuel, but yeah, under the bridge, just as you turn right, I ended up understeering wide due to the tyre starting to lose grip, and just basically put too much steering lock into it and put a wheel on the grass and ended up spinning into the wall. And yeah, it's amazing how you can have a good race and then all of a sudden it can just go down the pan.
How would you rate your starts of the championship then? We've had Laguna Seca, we've had Watkins Glen, and now Silverstone. Apart from the crash today, have you been happy with the starts of the season so far in the Jetta?
Yeah, it's going well so far. Obviously, I had to miss the last race due to other commitments, but yeah, the first round and tonight it's gone pretty well so far this season. It's been a good start to the season, but hopefully I can basically have a good run in the upcoming races and maybe try and challenge for the championship. But it's early stages yet.
Just looking at the schedule quickly for next week in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. Just bear with me a second as I get it open. We head to Alton Park. Now, a track that we don't often use in the BSRTC, of course, because of the grid size. But yeah, the Jetta around that tight, small track. Should that fare well?
I've never raced in the Jetta at Alton Park, to be honest. I mean, I've done some races there in the past in the Skip Barber, but it'll be a whole new learning experience for me around Alton Park with a different car. So yeah, but hopefully I can get to grips with the Jetta around Alton Park and maybe try and grab another podium or even a win.
Very well. Yeah, before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anybody?
Thanks to the guys from Cheese and Wine. Also thanks to Tim tonight, who's been a big help with the Jetta and who I was happy to see win in race 1. I could have possibly try and challenge him for the win in race 1, but I thought I would just be a rear gunner for him, and I was happy to see him take the win in race 1. And just thanks to all the guys from Cheese and Wine for the help as always. The help is always in the Jetta and helping me adapt to it. And yeah, I'll be expecting some free cheese and wine from them tonight to drown my sorrows.
Well, yeah, commiserations on the result today, and yeah, hopefully you've got some of that around. So, yeah, enjoy the bank holiday as well, and yeah, hopefully we'll speak to you next week.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks to Ryan Walker there for joining us, and well, another man who had an eventful evening is with us. Andrew Whitehead joins us in the commentary box. Andrew,
good evening.
Hello. That was a bit of an odd one for you, wasn't it, tonight, shall we say?
I'm a little bit upset.
Go on. I saw you had an issue. I saw you were saying you had an issue with the pedals in race 1, was it?
Yeah, it was quite weird actually, because I was not getting full throttle. I was about, I don't know, less than 9/10, but maybe 8.5, something like that. So it wasn't ridiculously slow, but Stuart just romped past me on the straight, and we were chatting in the comms, and that's when I realised that I was a bit lacking, but managed to to stay ahead of the rest of the pack. I mean, obviously Clinton and Lewis just romped away. Sorted the pedals out and absolutely nailed myself the start, and I think I got from 7th or 8th on the grid to in front of the Mustangs pack within 3 laps. So carving my way through it, and then just ran out of talent. Did an Atkinson.
Yeah, it wasn't the best week for the team in this series, but you know, you lot are fairly. Some of you are fairly new to the series, at least, and sure, some of it's an experience thing with the car, isn't it, more than anything else?
Yeah, the older hands like myself, we're supposed to be leading by example and at least setting a good example. But if we're just going to keep spinning off all over the place, it's not so cool. But, I missed the first 2 weeks, so it was my first outing in the car, and I haven't done any driving all week, so I've been busy. So it was a bit of a baptism of fire. But I was really pleased until I got a little bit excited with the right foot and lost it. I need to learn how to miss the barriers when I do go off. That would help.
Well, that's easier said than done as well. Well, these things happen. You give us a shout out to anybody you need to before we go tonight.
Yeah, just thank the guys for keep turning up and supporting the team. They're doing really well. So chuffed to bits with that. We've got 3 cars in each class, so really pleased that we're getting that level of support. And of course, thanks to you guys for putting up with us.
Hey, well, we got no choice. Thank you very much, mate. We do appreciate your time as usual, and yeah, we'll catch you on Thursday for the BSRTC.
See you then. Thank you.
See ya. Yeah, Sam, an eventful evening for Andrew Whitehead there, but sure all the team will learn from that bit of a disaster tonight.
Yeah, and we've seen with the Mustang, it's such a difficult car to control. I swear we seem to have about 5 Mustang crashes, all on driver zones, every race. So not easy car to control. I'm sure these guys will gradually get the hang of it. But yeah, great race overall today.
Just show Adam actually just how skilled the drivers in the Rickmatech Sports Car Series are, because we do not seem to get. They're very good at not losing the car, for instance, and obviously they make the Mustang look like an easier car to drive when maybe it actually is pretty awkward.
Yeah, it is pretty hard to drive. Actually, I did a few laps in it after the Rickmatech Sports Car Series one time, and yeah, the driver's really putting on a show, and especially with the traffic that's on hand as well, both for the Mustangs, the Jettas, and the Kias. Really hard to keep these cars going, and yeah, they seem to do a good job of it today. And with Alton Park next week, which is going to be pretty hard to find any room for manoeuvre, we'll see the best coming to the fore there.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. And speaking of 4, well, thank you guys. We've had a good evening in the commentary box. I think you almost need 4 people to keep an eye on this series with the 3 classes. So thank you to Adam, to Alex, and to Sam for joining me, and Alex, of course, for the broadcast coverage as usual. And we'll be back on. Goodness me. We'll be back on Tuesday evening for the BSR Formula Renault, and then the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship on Thursday evening. So from all of us here at Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live, this has been a presentation of the Club 73 Touring Car Championship presented by World League Sim Racing, and you can have a very, very good bank holiday. Good night, everybody.
From far away they came to us with knowledge. They changed our world and left us without warning. They will